Alright, let's begin. Hello everyone, GBA049 here, and welcome back to another episode of a dreadful journey featuring Metroid Fusion. Episode number 36, Metroid 4, the warm-up. The fucking warm-up to how many horrifying, traumatizing ideas that Nintendo had in store for themselves to get us started, to get everyone started, of all ages no less, for what's to come in Metroid 5. This is how everything started. This game, on a handheld device in the 2000s, this game just did so many things to transcend the legacy of the Metroid franchise even higher. Super Metroid definitely started it all, but everything in Metroid Fusion, it defines all of the core characteristics and meaning behind how dreadfully suspenseful and downright horrifying, no, a little bit too much, but downright scary the Metroid series could potentially get by the time when Metroid Prime came out, and even further, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, so on and so forth. That isolation, fear, and a subtle feeling of hopelessness being casted in its wake. All of that, Metroid Fusion made it happen by making those aspects like substantially higher in power, with energy. And if you ask me, what I'd like to personally classify Metroid Fusion as a Metroid game, I'd like to call it a test of skill and perseverance. Delving deeper inside the unknown with literally nothing, where literally nothing is safe. It is a haunting prospect all throughout this adventure. And to think that the only enemy that lives, that exists in this game, is the parasite that nearly ended your life. Everything, every boss, every minor encounter, and quite possibly just all the people that you might be talking to could be, excluding a couple things inside the game, but it's absolutely insane on how terrifying this game actually can get when the only enemy that is inside are X-Parasites. That's all you see. That's all they do. They morph into the enemies and creatures that inhabited SR-388, their origins, their home planet, invaded a research vessel, the biologic space laboratories. Inside this area, this is an area that is filled to the brim with disaster. Even before the X-Parasites just recreated it, just remodeled it into their hive. The BSL research station, in the very beginning of the game, no less, when it all started, the BSL station officially, in the blink of an eye, transformed into the transformed into the hive of the X-parasites. And another thing that I absolutely love about Metroid Fusion is the story. It has dialogue. It has emotion. It has character development. Everywhere. It makes you believe. It makes you think. It makes you want to understand more about it. But at the exact same time, it forces you. It actually forces you to just have the perceiving factor of not wanting to find out what lies ahead, but regardless, it tells you to anyway, because there's no other way, no turning back. I absolutely love Metroid Fusion because of how terrifying, on how much it gets everything right with the elements of horror, despite the fact that it's not a horror game at all. It's an action adventure 2D side scroller adventure that makes everything feel like it is, without a shadow of a doubt, a survival horror game. I know this might sound absolutely crazy when I say this, but I truly believe that despite the overused deck of cards played in the hands of so many people that tell the story over and over again, I truly believe that the age rating was justified. Why? Simple. Because of everything it did to traumatize the hearts of so many players that got their hands on this game, and everything it teaches them to persevere and have determination to survive through it all. It's a test of bravery. It's a test of skill and bravery to just go head to head and face off against the unknown. It's the trail of the unknown. And then after clearing that mission, they will never forget it. And years later, those elements of horror and mystery have become more insidious inside the development chambers. The doors of development of the people that were behind Metroid Dread. Like I said before, I believe that, Metroid Fusion is a warm-up to what's to come for Metroid Dread. We don't even know what in the hell to expect in that game, because this game makes us prepared to expect anything that would outright terrify us down to the bone. I've said too much. Let's begin. Metroid 4, Metroid Fusion. I cannot wait to experience your ethereal element of suspense you have to deliver, just like always. I also completely forgot to mention that this game is unbelievably difficult. Literally every second, every moment every breath that you take inside this game, danger is all that remains. Death approaches at every corner. Nothing is safe. And because of that, with all that in mind, every single enemy is out to get you. Everything is hunting you down. Above and below, inside what used to be a scientific research station. So much horror lies in wait. And it is not an easy quest to fulfill. Every single enemy in the game deals an untold amount of damage, even at the beginning of the game. You need to take so many extra precautions every single second you play this game, and all this is a test of skill. This game right here, by and large, undoubtedly marks the very beginning of Samus's most difficult mission yet: survival. Let's begin. I'd been assigned to watch over Biologics' research team, so I once again found myself on the surface of SR-388. Going back to this one area from AM2R. That horror node is now mutated, and Samus has no idea what she's about to expect. There it is. X-Parasite. It was there that I was attacked by a life form I had never encountered before. It was only later that I learned the identity of my attacker, the parasitic organism we now know as X. Unaware of my condition, I was returning to the station when disaster struck. Once the X had infested my central nervous system, I lost consciousness and my ship drifted into an asteroid belt. To think that this was shown in the fucking title screen makes you believe that Samus actually does die. The moment the logo appears, you're begging to receive answers. The ship's emergency systems automatically ejected the escape pod before impact. Biologics vessel recovered it and transported me to Galactic Federation HQ. However, during the journey, the X multiplied within me, corrupting large areas of my power suit. It then came to light that the organic components of my power suit had become so integrated with my system that it could not be removed while I was unconscious. Large portions of my suit had to be surgically removed, dramatically altering my physical appearance. However, the X and my central nervous system were too embedded to be removed safely. I was given a minimal chance of survival. This is in the beginning of the fucking game. I repeat, this is in the beginning of the fucking game. Then, someone found a cure. They proposed using a Metroid cell to make an anti-X vaccine. And this, right here, folks, is the first of many game changers that Metroid Fusion has to offer. Before, Samus Aran was a human with Chozo DNA, and now she is about to receive another DNA strand of a Metroid. That's dangerous. on so many levels. It seems that the Federation had managed to preserve a cell culture from the last infant Metroid from SR388. The serum was prepared and injected without delay. The X-parasites were immediately and completely destroyed. As for me, one life ended. Yet I survived, reborn as something different. Pondering this fact, I realize I owe the Metroid hatchling my life twice over. Well, unless you encounter the incident that occurred in Metroid Samus Returns, and this could be a little bit retconned. It saved your life 3 times. I have to say that what the infant Metroid did in Samus Returns was, I have to say, actually, what am I kidding? The sacrifice of Super Metroid is a lot more. It has a lot more power radiating with meaning than what it did in Samus Returns. As unexpected as it was, both the events are unexpected, but in Super Metroid it was a lot more powerful. We'll soon be arriving at the BSL research station. I must prepare for docking. The ship's computer has notified me of our approach to the Biologic Space Labs, or BSL research station, or as I like to call it bluntly, the bullshit labs, because there is plenty of it filled in here. During my surgery, the research team sent the last batch of creatures we captured there, as well as the infected pieces of my power suit. After regaining consciousness, I learned that an unexplained explosion rocked the station. For some reason, this awoke a nameless fear in my heart, and now I'm being sent there to investigate. That sentence could not be any more terrifying to read through. You're being sent there to investigate. You're investigating an unknown explosion that hit the BSL labs. An explosion of unknown origin. Yeah, what's the worst that could happen, right? An ordinary person would just like turn back from that. Excuse me. Would just turn their backs away from that task completely. Just to avoid any danger. Unless you're Samus Aran, who just goes head to head with danger, who just goes face to face with danger and spits directly at it without giving a single fuck in the slightest. Definition of badass right there. My mission on the BSL station will be overseen by my new ship's computer. Following the commands of this blunt, computerized CEO is something I have to bear, as it was a condition of my taking the ship. For someone who dislikes taking orders, this is the second time I found myself having to do so. It makes me recall my other CEO. The first time was in Metroid Other M. Infamously notorious for good reason, but I mean, it was made clear that she dislikes taking orders. And she referenced that it's the second time, and the first time was in Metroid Other M. So obviously she hated, I'm not quite sure if he actually hated like taking orders directly from Adam, but she was strangely obedient regardless of literally everything that occurred in Metroid Other M, and it just makes me think, you are a strange character, Samus. Still can't help but love you. It's like, it doesn't bother me at all. And here we go. The adventure begins. And she has acquired a new gunship. Since the other one got destroyed and landed into the asteroid belt, it's now purple. It still shows a hint of her identity, given the visor that's on the front, but it's very nice that we actually get to see that again in Metroid Dread, so that's pretty fucking cool. Anyway, let's begin. There's been an explosion in the quarantine bay. The bay currently stores capsules containing recent samples from SR-388, as well as parts of your suit infected by the X-parasites. What I want to know is why in the absolute fuck did they actually contain her infected power suit inside the BSL station, not knowing what in the hell would happen next? The more I think about it, it's... One could imagine that doing so might have been on purpose or on accident. We don't know for sure. The cause of the explosion is as yet unclear. Investigate. The quarantine bay is here. Move quickly and quietly. You are still unable to use most of your latent abilities. Don't forget that, Samus. Stop at the navigation room on the way. Uplink from there. Is your objective clear? Now, go to the quarantine bay. Alright, let's begin. Immediately, right off the bat, it just starts off so uncomfortable. Dead empty. No enemies in sight. No people in sight. All we hear are just the mechanical components whirring inside the background. Still got the power grip. But all that we have with us is a long beam. No Morph Ball. We can angle in multiple directions still. Our movement is a lot more efficiently crippled in comparison to anything else that occurred in the series. And the worst part, if you ask me, is that they nerfed the wall jump. But that's just my opinion. Navigation room. See what happens here. The quarantine bay is ahead. Biosigns are confirmed. Be careful. So what's the first biosign? Yeah. Way to add the suspense there, game. A source of light following our movement inside a dark room. And holy fucking shit. When it comes to atmosphere, Metroid Fusion has by far the best. Like, holy crap. It's not like anything you could ever come to expect in a Metroid game. And here we go. An X-infected horror node. And here's here's another surprising thing about this. It's just a normal horror node, just minding his own business. I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm curious. How much damage does this X-infected horror node deal to me? Quite a lot, actually. Killing it reveals an X-parasite. Yet we absorb it. We absorb the X-parasite, and it restores our energy. And here we go. Here are the remains of what is left inside the quarantine bay. Right inside this capsule in the background is where your power suit was contained inside. And everything else is broken. Most likely containing the suggested, the mentioned samples of SR-388 specimens as well. Because of the cracks in the background, everything else leaked out. Can't go through there yet. Have to go back to the navigation room. Not even the doors are open. We have to obey orders in order to progress. But because if we did this on our own, we wouldn't... If we actually did this stuff on our own, we wouldn't even survive a minute. And now the music has become a lot more sinister. Like I said, it is the gestation period of Metroid Dread. A warm-up. Everything is a warm-up. This is unfortunate news. The specimens brought back by the field team were infected by X parasites. The X can mimic its prey. Any specimen could have hosted it. Before the explosion, a security sensor scanned one. The gelatinous X parasites invade and rapidly reproduce, killing the host creature. They also absorb DNA and use it to mimic the host. You were almost killed by an X infection. Only the Metroid vaccine saved your life. It seems Metroids were the main predators of the X. I know I mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. The worst case scenario, by far the worst case scenario, isn't the space pirates using the Metroids as bioweapons to fulfill their vile desires. It's the latter. It is the latter on last case scenario. Eliminating the Metroid SR388 just arose the X parasites. Because now they have no weakness. Their main apex predator is extinct. Without them, X parasites are just an unstoppable force of the galaxy. Worst case scenario, objectively speaking. That's why the vaccine works so quickly and so well. But it has also changed your cellular makeup. You will never be infected by X again. In fact, you can now absorb any free-floating X parasites without a host by merely touching them. This will allow you to replenish health and restore weapons, albeit infinitesimally. You may also restore latent abilities this way, so pursue free X parasites whenever you possibly can. This station is home to many species, some violent ones. We must keep the X out of the breeding environments at all costs. This is vital, Samus. I am already detecting massive biosigns in this region. The X are gathering. This may be our chance to exterminate them, but you are only at 10% battle capacity. Your chance of survival is extremely low. The Federation needs you alive and on duty, Samus. Is your objective clear? The Federation needs you alive and on duty. It wasn't until just recently that just reading that sentence, reading that sentence during Adam's marathon of the classic Metroid series, it was a hint on what's to come and what to expect from the Federation themselves. Is your objective clear? Now, get going. I have released the lock on level 0 hatches. Excuse me. Look for the blinking hatches. And we're about to expect that the very moment we exit out of this area. The investigation process. The investigation high alert indication on treading along with caution. Not knowing what to expect, but at the exact same time, it's doing its absolute best to be prepared for what lies ahead. I'm not allowed to go through there just yet. There's a good reason on why they locked that, though. Unfortunately, we cannot get this missile expansion and anything else that resides inside this hallway, so... Docking bays. Go all the way back down here. Right there, here's the main silo station. Didn't get there yet. I feel like it's best to save the game right here. That way we don't accidentally kill ourselves and become I don't know, slightly clumsy. Proceed to target. All I want to just like save my game for extra security measure, just to be safe. Even though that I always say that it's been a while for like been a while since the last time I played a Metroid game. Even though that I always just wing it successfully most of the time. When I do play the Metroid series, like I just go through there, like I don't know, just it's like it's been a while. Just instantly masters like everything that the game has to throw at me. Another X-Parasite. Just a taste of what they're capable of doing. First save room. You know, I probably should have saved in here in all hindsight. My mistake. And here is where here's where the ideas of terror start to rise into action. As you can see in the background, there's a dead research scientist. Yet in the foreground is a zombie enemy wearing a torn up lab coat and liquefied in appearance, meaning that the X-Parasite killed this person and morphed into a zombified form of that researcher. However, these things are invincible. You cannot kill them. Not even with a power bomb. Because over time, any roaming X-Parasite will begin to take over this sentient puddle, and just like regenerate. Though I have to point out, as long as it'll work, that is. Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. It appears as though that the roaming X-Parasites don't actually appear until a little bit later on after we enter inside this room. So let's finish that up. I have received news from HQ. They can support you with downloadable weapons data. Once you have this data, you'll be able to use missiles. This will help against some enemies your beam can't hurt. Head to the data room for the download. The data room is here. Is your objective clear? With missiles, your chance of survival climbs to 20%. But even with that slight increase of prowess for Samus, it's still not enough to survive the most powerful enemies this game has to throw at you. Anyway, now the X-Parasites actually will roam inside, regenerate these puddles of dead researchers. I forgot what they were called. Can't go through here yet. Actually, you can't get through there at all yet. There's something so silly about the way that this one peculiar sprite when you would destroy the puddle, the zombified puddle. There's a silly face, okay. It looks like as if that the very moment when you shoot the X-Parasite off of the zombie. Look closely. It looks like they have a face on them. It's like, dude, seriously? I don't know why. There's something so silly about the way that sprite is designed to make it look like some kind of like a face puddle when you remove when you just expel the X-Parasite out of the out of that zombie. Background dialogue for Samus. This officially gives character to Samus. Like only a sample of Samus in Metroid Fusion. It became more fleshed out in Metroid Other M, in my honest opinion. But this isn't Metroid Other M, this is Metroid Fusion, continuing on. That computer reminds me of a gruff Federation CEO I served under named Adam Malkovich. He called me lady on missions. From anyone else, it would have sounded sarcastic, but Adam made it sound dignified. Out of respect and with some irony, I named the computer after him. The Galactic Federation headquarters navigation control center, the computer that we talked to, now officially has a name, to avoid any confusion. This is a recharge station. And immediately to the left is a save station, so let's do that as well. Nothing too extreme happening yet. Alright. We physically downloaded the missiles by entering inside some kind of machine that just literally injects the data for missiles. And this also confirms that how Samus contains so many missiles inside her arm cannon. They're stored inside her digitally. They're digital. Inside her body are digital, but the moment they're activated inside her arm cannon, they become physical. Powering down. Every single moment in this game just turns more and more insidious. Jeez. Electrical interferences has knocked out the elevators on the main deck. This may be related to the X. I'll work on it. As for you, try to find another way to the target. It's located here. I'm reading huge biosigns, so I hope your missiles work. To reload missiles, you can use a recharge room or absorb a special type of X parasite. You'll see them. Try it out. Is your objective clear? Missiles are your only hope. Don't hesitate to use them. Now, find a way to the target. Alright. Let's go. I also noticed that the area that we're inside doesn't begin to rapidly flash in power until the very fucking moment we download the missiles. It's almost like as if the stronger we get, the smarter the X parasites become, making them by far the most formidable threat in the entire galaxy. Also, there's something a little bit oddly charming in a way every single time when you absorb an X parasite. The noise that they make. Don't know why it does that, but it's almost like as if that X parasites make noise besides the whirring noises when they would just float about in the air. Alright, diving back down here. Missile tank. First one in the game. Okay, I have never had that happen before. I got a red X parasite from the zombie creature. Those are extremely rare to emerge out of enemies. And yet I was able to get it at full energy. Don't know how anything like that's possible, but alright. Second missile tank. I wonder if I can do it again. Yeah, it was completely random. I just got extremely lucky. Then we exit out through the floor. And we face our first boss in the game. This is the Arachnus. And I also need to remind you that every single enemy that you encounter in the game is not only... Actually, it has been told to you in the beginning of the game, courtesy to Adam, detailing it. Not only are the creatures inside the BSL station like the creatures of BSL station that after you, it's also the creatures of planet SR388 as well. So basically, you are let's just say you're like, I don't know, adventuring through not one but two planets simultaneously. Two environments at the exact same time. Both of them are riddled with danger. I really do not like these species of Ghidorah. Because of how uncooperative they can be at times. Gotta go wait for the pupil to appear. Don't interfere with me. There we go. Well, unless you destroy a Ghidorah, only then will you receive red X parasites. Leave it to Adam to, local Adam, not in-game Adam, to, show me this very well hidden second energy tank in the game. Yeah, when he first showed me that, I was like, wait, I had absolutely no idea I had no idea there was two energy tanks in this one area. I thought there was only one. So yeah, that's going to be extremely helpful from here on out. And here we go. That's an X, that's a core X that morphs into the one and only Arachnus. And Arachnus in this game means serious business. But despite the fact that it's not Arachnus at all, it's an X-Parasite pretending to be Arachnus. And that is how much damage he deals to you. Obviously enough, when I first fought this version of Arachnus, I died. Because like I said, this game is difficult. No, battle's not over yet. We have to destroy the core. We have to destroy the core X parasite. Wait for the barrier to turn red, and got him. And for some reason, this core X parasite absorbed the ability of the Morph Ball. But we reacquired it. You know, Arachnus, usually you have the spring ball in your... usually you have the power of the spring ball. But in here is the Morph Ball. So, why did the X-Parasite, like, have that? Might be some kind of, well, not quite sure what came first. Metroid Fusion come first, or was it Metroid Prime 2 Echoes? Because the Ing also absorbed the abilities of your arsenal, the same way the X-Parasites do, so, maybe it was the, maybe it gave maybe the Ing took inspiration to the X-Parasites absorbing your abilities. Alright, we got the Morph Ball. Destroy this barrier. And recharge our missiles, back to 20 rounds of ammo, but it's not really all that bad. You know, while I'm at it, I'm gonna go look up the names of the enemies in here. All right, so simply put, those enemies are called zombie researchers. Yep, these guys were once human before. Now, they've been reprogrammed by X-Parasite hands. Saving the game often is extremely freaking vile to do, especially if it's the very first time playing Metroid Fusion. It's not an easy game by any means, at all, in the slightest. And here, we are nearing the second game changer in Metroid Fusion. Very near to it. Samus, it's as I feared. The breeding environments have been invaded by X-parasites. Sector 1 SRX shows several abnormalities on biosensors. Sector 1 is a simulation of the SR388 ecosystem. To get there, take the main elevator to the access shaft and use elevator 1. Is your objective clear? Use the navigation room just inside for further briefing. I'm not sure, but I think that whoever allowed the X into the environment may also be linked to the earlier explosion. Yeah. That right there. This entire moment just makes your fucking heart race all over the earth and back to the same spot you once stood in. Out of pure terror, agonizing terror, on what in the hell is actually happening, and wondering if you're even able, have the freaking capability to just to survive, to survive the experience. And here is where the dark image, like the darker side of the Galactic Federation, officially begins to show its roots on the trunk of the tree. Right through here. Sub-Zero Containment. For some unknown reason, in Metroid Other M, they took the remains of your nemesis and put him in display inside this area. Why? Galactic Federation, I have only one question. Why in the absolute hell, and what makes you possibly think on what makes, I don't know, Ridley so important, a valuable specimen to your asinine ideals? You contained Samus's nemesis for what reason? To utilize him for your own personal gain? To haunt her? Or worse yet? Or, I don't know. Just the whole freaking idea of them taking Ridley and putting Ridley inside this place. It just makes me say, what the fuck do you think this is? What the fuck do you think Ridley is to you? A relic to your petty, defective museum? Get the fuck out of here with your bullshit. Like I said before, you're fighting not one but two enemies in this game. Eventually, one of them is the X-Parasites, and secondly is the Galactic Federation. It's what they plan to do, eventually. And here we go. Here is a second game changer right here. So, who was that unknown perpetrator that is corresponded in association to linking the sudden outbreak of X-Parasites swarming the level 0 hatches of Sector 1, right through Sector 1? Who do you think could have caused that? Do you think they might have just went inside on their own? Well, no. Absolutely not. An unknown spectral apparition is at work. And I would like to add the tension even higher by just assimilating a small fraction of the one and only Fuffle's Minions' poetic genius on what will occur that really makes you think. It makes you horrified at the same time. An idea, prospect, that just makes you horrified about something so simple, so harmless, could wield so much power that you cannot understand. this full quote directly, this full, direct, in-depth quote by Faffel's Minion. You know the freaky thing about your shadow? It always looks bigger than you. How interesting that even as the light shines over, the one forever behind you towers over. Me? I think it's a warning of existential repeal. Wherever you lie, be it a lamb in a herd of lions or the dominant force in your realm, balance will prevail and swap the halves. Childhood trauma incarnate. The SAX. An X-parasite mimicking you at your fullest, complete repertoire. Yep. And this right here is what I absolutely adore about Metroid Fusion. The SAX as a concept by itself. The concept of Metroid Fusion is because of that thing haunting you, lurking somewhere from the shadows, seeking nothing but your ultimate demise. A heartless entity that could potentially destroy the entire galaxy. It's here, and it is waiting for your expected arrival. But only the player knows the SAX's presence. Samus has zero idea on what the heck she's about to get herself into. It gets even worse when she accesses the navigation panel. The main elevator leading to the access shaft has been severely damaged. It will be totally unusable for some time, unfortunately. Some unknown agent is at work. Something very powerful, certainly not human. I'll report when I know more. Now listen closely. The X in Sector 1 have invaded the atmospheric stabilizers. They must want to alter the environment to their needs. They are already reproducing. Clear all 5 atmospheric stabilizers to stop them. Is your objective clear? Now, get moving. This theme right here has got to be my second favorite in the entire game because of how much dread it constantly breathes. That plays at the very moment, the very fucking moment when the player becomes just crosses eyes with the SAX. It's undetermined. It's an undetermined future that you do not want to be real, but deep down, as much as you really do not want to happen, it eventually will. And this music adds that concept spectacularly. However, that will have to include the end of this episode in Metroid Fusion. So, hope you enjoyed the start of the story of Metroid Fusion, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you later. This is GBA049, signing out, going offline, and see you next mission. Usually, it is ill-advised to play a horror game dead at night, but I'd say it's a welcoming tradition to do so. Regardless, I'd say it's a perfect opportunity to do so. What say you? Also, I absolutely fucking love the remix in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I have to say it's like one of their best remixes of Metroid yet. Right next to the ending of Metroid. Man. This game. It's unlike anything. It's unlike anything else. Still cannot believe that it's just a warm-up. Well, Nintendo, if it was actually your intention for allowing players of all ages to know and expect and always remember the trauma they've lived and persevered through, to get them started on what you had planned, always had planned in the future, you are fucking brilliant. They knew exactly what they were doing, if that's the case. Well, anyway, see ya.